We are forming an alliance with Gerber and Gerber. We're very excited about it. One of the things that our agents will be excited about is you'll be able to get a pay at close with Gerber and Gerber also. So that's always a nice thing to be paid at table. They're conveniently located on Roswell Road in Atlanta, Sandy Springs area. But they will come to any of our Drake offices to do a closing. And the number one thing John and Kelly covered was if you can't get the loan closed, you can't close the deal. If the attorney can't get the title clear, you can't get the deal closed either. So we really have to work with good business partners. Sandy Gerber, Max Hardy have also gotten very involved with the short sale process. And as we all know, it's illegal for an agent in the state of Georgia to negotiate a short sale. So how many people in this room right now are working with Gerber and Gerber on short sale? Yeah, there's quite a few of you. That's great. So we have several of y'all have already used the service. But the thing is, the beauty of this is you can act as a traditional listing agent on a short sale and let Max, Sandy work with Allie Venable and Denise Sipple, who are the agent concierge who work with them on the short sales. So with no further ado, if y'all would come on over this way, I'm going to turn it over to Sandy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I think it's still morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm Sandy Gerber with Gerber and Gerber. We're a law firm in Sandy Springs. Been in Atlanta practicing since 1985, doing closings since '86, and done probably 40,000 closings over the years. We know just about, I think we know just about everything about closings, even though there's always something that pops up. I think we specialize in being able to get the hard closing closed, and have been doing so for many years. In our office, we have Max Hardy. We also have another attorney, Robert Sichel. Max runs titles for us and also does closings. Robert does closings. He's also has a small general practice, and he's a professor of law at Kennesaw State University. So between the three of us, we also have a few other attorneys that work with us part-time, but between the three of us, we pretty much can take care of any issue that you may ever have for closings, real estate matters, and generally almost any other legal matter. If you ever have an issue, please feel free to call us and we can help you. We've spent the last year heavily getting into short sales and negotiating short sales, and I'm sure many of you all have heard Allie and Denise talk about short sales, and I think they're going to talk a little more about that. Our office is willing to go to your office and do closings. We have several attorneys that will travel, or Max or I will go there, or Robert will go to your office. We also pride ourselves on taking care of you. We have a little concierge service. You can come into our office, and in Sandy Springs on Roswell Road, we're across from the new Target at the Prado. It's a half mile inside 285. But you can come into our office anytime, use computers. If you need to have a meeting with somebody, we have several conference rooms. Feel free to use all of our facilities for anything that you might need to help your business, to help you grow and be even more successful in 2012. We're very excited about working with Drake. Have to thank Bernie and Glenn for inviting us to participate with y'all. And I think 2012 is going to be a really, really good year. We're already seeing signs, certainly on the north side of town, of market changes in East Cobb and North Fulton. I'm seeing a tremendous change. Inventory's down, and we're starting to see people buying houses. And so I think 2012 is going to be really good. Denise and Allie are going to talk to y'all about, I think, about short sales and our concierge service. Again, if there's anything anybody ever needs, always feel free to call us. My cell phone's available. Max's is available. If you ever have a title issue, a legal issue, pick up the phone and call us. If you have a contract issue, call us before you make a mistake. Just feel free at any time to call us. really, unless it's life or death, after midnight, not a great time to call. But if there's, we've always found over the years, it's better for a real estate agent to call the attorney and say, listen, I've got this issue. I don't know how to handle it. The borrower needs to pay this extra, or the seller needs to fix something in the house or pay a bill. How do we put it in the contract? How do we word that? That's what we're around for. Ask us. You know, a lot of times we'll have to say, well, we'll have to discuss it with the lender to see what they'll allow. But as far as the legal issues, we can help you. I'm going to turn it over to Denise and Allie to talk to y'all. If y'all have any questions after they talk, I'm here for answering questions.
I think it's afternoon now, or close to it. I've been doing real estate since 1985, and 1995 went over to traditional real estate. In 2002, joined Drake Realty. Love Drake, and proud to be back allianced with them. Last year, when we've been working with Gerber and Gerber for several years doing all our real estate closings. Last year, we went to Sandy and said, look, short sales, they've changed the law. We've got something we want to do together. And Sandy was thinking the same thing with the same line, and we sort of met in the middle. Then as we got to talking about short sales, because we're agents, we know what you do every day in the field. And so we said, let's do also an agent concierge service with the agents in mind to make your workflow easier, give you a place to come and work. So, and also when you have a closing, sometimes all you want to know is my package there? Is the package there? Is it ready? Do you have a HUD for my seller? Do you have a HUD for my buyer? Well, at our office now with our agent concierge, you have priority service. You call us, you don't have to call and say, wait a minute, this is not your file. This is not my file. Let me speak with Sally. Let you speak with Jane. Jane, oh, here's her voicemail. We're going to find out. And we're going to call you back or find out right there on the phone. We have Wi-Fi service at our office, and we're located, you know where FMLS is on Roswell Road? 2-story brick building, white dormers. Very convenient. We've even had a couple of cases where we've had to go out to a client and meet a client to drop off paperwork for their agent because of an emergency. We don't do that all the time, but we're there to help. Again, get you to the closing table. You need to print something, you need to print 20 flyers, come by, print 20 flyers. You need to meet with your seller, you need to meet with your buyer. Or you want your seller or your buyer to call the attorney's firm. We'll talk directly to them also. And again, we're here to help. I'm going to sort of turn this over to Allie. Allie and I have been business partners since 1999. 2 women in real estate together that long. Everybody says, yeah. Everybody says, are y'all best friends? I says, no, we're like sisters and we fight like sisters. But this is Allie Venable, and she's going to talk about short sales.
Okay. Well, I know Denise had touched on how, and Sandy as well, that we as agents can no longer negotiate short sales. And what I've found in talking to fellow agents is a lot of the agents are actually turning down profitable listings, and they're walking away from short sales because, number one, they're afraid of them or they don't know how to do them. Number two, it's very time consuming. And now with the laws changing, they really legally can't do it. We don't want you to turn them away anymore. We want you to bring them to us. That's where we can help you. We want you to be able to utilize your time doing what you do, which is buying and selling homes. Basically what we will do is the only thing you'll have to do different than just your regular traditional listing appointment is
they can hear themselves.
I don't know what that is. I'm like, wow. Something. Okay. I'm so sorry. Now that I've lost my train of thought, let me think about where I was. Oh, listing appointment. The only thing you're going to have to do really different than a traditional listing appointment is gather the paperwork. But we're going to give you a list of everything you need to get. So it's not a scary thing. It's just very basic information that we need. It's very important that we have an authorization to talk to the bank because that's how we get things moving and rolling. It's a process. But the nice thing about Denise and myself and Gerber is we have built huge portfolios of these banks, and we know what banks will do what, how long they take, the timelines, what the do's and don'ts are, how the HAFA program works, which is another form of a short sale, how FHA works, how your traditional ones work, and what you can expect. And I think that helps as long as you educate your buyers or your sellers as to what to expect, you run into less problems. And we can help you with that. I'm sorry. That really threw me. I mean, I had it all down in my little bullets in my brain, and they're all gone.
I thought it was just from hanging around there.
It is, Sandy, it is.
If you can tell, we're a very lighthearted office too. You have to laugh in this industry to get by. If you can't laugh,
Right.
yeah. So.
Well, and the nice thing is Denise and I are both licensed. We've been licensed for a long time, so we understand from an agent's perspective too, not just as an attorney's office negotiating short sales. We know exactly what you as agents want to know. Therefore, we're sensitive to that. So we make sure that we keep you up to date on the process. We make sure that your clients are very well educated. As a matter of fact, we will share our special tips with you that we have created over many years and out of a lot of experience. They're valuable, and some of them may seem very, very dumb, but I'm telling you, we've been through it. And so we encourage you to use our special tips and put them in there just because we know that these things can happen, and it does in the long run protect you and your client. I think that's...
Yeah, especially one of the things too that, as everybody says, sets us apart from other firms that are doing short sales is that because we're real estate agents, we know the real estate market. We're able to dispute BPO values. And we even guide you through, I think one of the most important steps in a short sale is the BPO. That will break your deal right there. So we guide you through how to meet with the BPO agent or the appraiser, how to talk to them, how to take your comps. When you go meet with them, you have to first talk to them and find out who they are. Find out their personality so that you can talk to them on their level and show them your comps. And believe it or not, we've had a couple of times where the BPO agent said, oh, here's my comps, which ones do you want me to use? I'm like, oh, use this one, use this one, use this one. But again, then I've had one where no one met the BPO agent. That BPO came in 50% over true value. And that deal died, huh?
What do they do to get there?
Oh, the BPO, sometimes, I mean, there's really good BPO agents, but they're $45. Some of them are just going out there and really not taking the time because they're just trying to get the $45. And they're really not trying to hurt your deal. Then sometimes you've got BPO agents that are REO agents. And that's a conflict of interest to me. I want to know that. I'm going to ask them, are you an REO agent? Because if you are you trying to get this for your REO's listing when you force it into foreclosure? Knowing that information, when I have to dispute that BPO, is priceless. I have even gone and compared their listings, and so I can give it to the negotiator, and it does work. Anybody got any questions?
Let me just add something. These two ladies have probably done more short sales than anybody else in Atlanta negotiating. They know the ins and outs. They're teaching me about short sales. You know, we understand the legal side, but they understand the side of what does it take to get it approved. Knowing these lenders and knowing exactly what a lender wants, the potential foreclosing lender, is the key. They really understand the process and know who to talk to. They know how to pick up the phone and get something approved. And I know there are plenty of attorneys out there that have short sale negotiators. And I doubt any of them are real estate agents that have been handling short sales themselves. And that's a big difference. We attorneys, we can be mean and we can act like we know everything to try to negotiate a short sale. And then all we do is come across as just, oh, attorneys. And they don't, the lenders don't want to hear it. But these ladies, they know how to handle it on the softer side and get it done. And let me tell you, they are bulldogs. They will fight to get something done, and they will argue to their death almost to get an approval on a short sale. And for anybody that's used them before, you probably know. For those of you that haven't, please try them.
I have a question. How long of a process is it
Depends on the bank, right?
What kind of range?
Okay, well,
Let's just say 90 days.
I can tell you with
6
Bank of
months.
America, with the HAFA program, they've gotten much faster. We encourage a lot of people to go through HAFA, and the reason being is because your seller actually collects $3,000 at the closing table in order to help them with moving. That process, particularly with Bank of America, is not taking very long. I mean, I've seen approvals come in to participate in the HAFA program 15 days.
So 15 days to what, 4 months?
No.
I've heard horror stories.
15 days to 45 days to get you approved in the HAFA program. But 45 days is if you're trying to get them approved in HAFA with a contract. Okay.
Next question I have, and I don't know if this is true. I heard this on one of those expert shows. That banks are currently providing incentives, cash, for people to take care of their homes, so not to destroy them on the way out.
They are. We had one that closed that was actually with.
Is that a backup Bank of America or SunTrust or? That's what that means. Okay.
Yeah, that's the $3,000. But you also have programs that Chase and Citibank are offering, where they're giving tens of thousands of dollars to people. We had a client that got $20,000 when she closed. On a house, right, when she owed 300. Yes.
And I'm glad you said that, because I have an agent now who has a property with Chase, that's a short sale. Chase is giving the seller $35,000 to move, plus $3,000 from HAFA, $289,000 property. So they're gonna collect $38,000 at closing just to be out of the house and to move on. Of course, they're gonna get 1099 in most cases in reference to it, but it's still giving them money to do.
I'd live for that kind of.
But they're protected with their 1099 right now.
Right. Let me ask you this question. In reference to educating agents about Mars, dealing with short sales and dealing with retainer fees and things of that nature, are you guys discussing that with them as well? Behind that, if they collect a retainer fee from a buyer and the buyer end up buying a short sale property, how Mars will say you gotta do some things as far as collecting that retainer fee?
I haven't really run into that.
Okay.
That's an area that we've not, gone into yet.
Okay.
And we are still working. The thing is that we don't know all the different, especially with Mars and the retainer fees. We don't collect retainer fees.
Okay. But I'm just saying, in the event that an agent
Right.
does, he has a buyer,
Right.
and the buyer wants to buy a property that's a short sale, but they collected a retainer fee up front.
So, buyer representation?
Right.
Oh, there's no problem.
What about,
Yeah.
well, actually with Mars, it specifically states that you have to give that retainer fee back, because you can't collect a retainer fee from a buyer to buy a short sale property.
Right.
Everybody know what Mars is? It's the
Yes.
Mortgage Assistant Relief Services. Something the federal government came up with.
Right.
But again, agents are being affected because they don't know it. And they may get a retainer fee from not necessarily an investor, but anybody that they out of state that comes into town. I want to buy this house, it's a short sale.
Right.
However, they collected $500-600 retainer fee for that. The short sale, they're buying a short sale property. Well, what do I do with the $500? You give it back. Right.
Yes.
Well, in this day and age, now that agents really should not be negotiating the short sales.
Right, absolutely.
They really shouldn't be collecting that retainer anymore. I mean, a couple of years ago, agents were doing everything and obviously collecting that retainer. Now, we're not collecting a retainer. And that's something else just to add. Not only if you have a potential listing of a short sale, but let's say you have a buyer that's thinking about buying a property that's going to have to be a short sale. I highly recommend to you that you put in that contract that you will send to Gerber the negotiation. Don't let that other agent try and negotiate, because there are agents out there still negotiating short sales, and they can really mess it up.
I went through the sliding rule campaign with agents on commission. Do you help us there? It seemed like they were always changing things. They would have 5 or 6%, and then when you talk to them, well, we take 3% up front, and I call that the sliding rule.
This is what we, on a listing appointment, what we tell, we get most of our fees on the HUD. And we do have a minimum that we have to make. We have a minimum we have to make. But what we advise our agents to do is on the listing, put 2.5% to the buyer's agent. Then you disclose to them, I'm working with a third party law firm, and there is a 1% backup just in case. But if they get all their fees on the HUD, guess what? Me and you split that 1%. And that's how we handle it. Give it back to the agent. Give it, because you want to do business with that agent again. One thing that I want to touch about is that if you can't tell, we have a passion for short sales. We care about the sellers. We care about we understand what they're going through. We've walked in their shoes with family members and things, so we understand. And we did our first short sale in 2002. So we've been doing them a long time.
I think she pretty much touched on it. I just wanted to make sure that y'all understood the last place we looked to get paid, because I know that's a question in all of your heads. Okay, well, that's great. They want to do all this. How do they get paid? We are able to get additional attorney fees on the HUD 9 times out of 10. And in that case, we don't collect money from anybody except for the bank who's paying the attorney fees. The only loans where we have issues with getting additional attorney fees are FHA. And so when you have an FHA loan or VA, at that point, that is when the 0.5% from each agent would come into play. We never ever charge more than 1%, no matter what our minimum is, not from an agent. We're agents, we understand. We don't want to, we know you work hard for your money. So that's how that works.
Now, that's only if there's no way to
Only,
get fees
right.
from the lender.
Right, or from the buyer. Sometimes buyers are willing to pay it.
Sometimes sellers pay it.
Mm-hmm. I've had a buyer that had to bring on a second mortgage to pay off $35,000 additional dollars. He wasn't even my buyer, but I talked him into. I had to talk to him and get him to do this, and he brought an additional $10,000 to cover loss-mint fees. It was high-end home, but sometimes the buyers will pay it, so the agent doesn't have to pay it at all. But the bottom line is, worst-case scenario in FHA, you might have to pay 0.5% of yours, and the other agent may have to pay 0.5% of theirs. But at the end of the day, something is better than nothing. Because if you're not allowed to negotiate your own short sales, but you have a short sale to list, wouldn't you rather make 5% if you did both sides, but wouldn't you rather make 2.5% opposed to nothing? I would. It's kind of a no-brainer. So, but that's the worst case scenario. Again, it's the last place we look.
And I got a tip of the day.
Yep.
Tip of the day, FHA. If you have an FHA short sale and the buyer is an FHA buyer, the maximum closing cost you're going to get, no matter what it is 1%. There are exceptions. They're hard to get. I'm working on one now, and I'm not sure if we're going to get it. The buyer is a vet, disabled from Iraq, and he needs to move from an apartment to a one level. He is in a wheelchair and he is bedbound unless he's in a chair, and that's what I'm fighting for, the additional 2% that he needs. So if you have an FHA short sale, FHA buyer, you want to make sure that your buyer or the buyer has the capability of paying their own closing costs, because they're not going to get more than 1%. Any other questions? Well, see us over here at our booth before y'all leave. We're going to have a class
February 9th.
At our office. We sit down and do a listing appointment. We'll sit down with you and explain to you how you do your listing appointment, how you go over all this paperwork, and cover all that stuff, so that when you go into the listing appointment, you know what you're talking about.
But we can only take a certain number of people, so if you're interested in doing that on February 9th,
We have a sheet.
we have a sheet to sign up. Please come over here and sign up.
And also, though, if you want to have it at your office, fill one out and tell us what office that you're at. We're going to start coming to the office. We've done some classes at the office, but we're going to start doing them again.
And we are looking into trying to get CE, not immediately, but we are working with Bernie and Glenn on what we have to do to try and get maybe CE for you guys on some of these classes.
I got one more. I'm so sorry. CE classes, doing short sales. There's several CE classes out there for short sales. One of them was teach by a local agent who's been around for a long time. She joined the team that I was on, and I went with her first listing appointment because she didn't know how to do it. She was teaching CE.
Just food for thought.
So make sure who you're going to teach your CE classes, are really active, not teaching by theory, but by actuality. We teach by theory. I mean by actuality. We teach by actuality, not by theory. And oh yeah, and our first guy is, I remember nothing, Allie remembers everything. So everybody remember it. She remembers everything. I remember.
On a final note, I really want to thank all of you and really look forward to working with Drake Realty. I think it's going to be a great relationship, and we just wish everybody a really happy, healthy, and prosperous new year. Looking forward to 2012.
Thank you very much. The